We're just talking. All right, Joe. This is Big John. I got Joe Meade here, owner of Noble Quest LLC, and I'm just reading off your cards.
Yeah, man.
Mystic Forces. Tell us a little bit about your game and what you're working on, Joe.
Yeah, well, sure thing, John. Appreciate you taking the time to interview me. So, my current project is Omens of Destiny. It's a fantasy adventure board game. It's cooperative, 1 to 4 players. Very heavy emphasis on quests, combats, group synergies. So, you got customizable characters. Everyone has access to magic. So, a lot of cards in the game. There's over 400 cards. So, a lot of room to kind of customize, move things around, swap, and trade gear between players and characters. Very story driven. So it's kind of got an RPG feel, but it plays obviously like a board game, which it is.
I know I checked you guys out playing, and it looked really fun. I've never really played a game like that, and I can tell it's a lot to take in. But
there's a lot of content there for sure.
Yeah, you come down here to the Appalachian TCG group, and it's been awesome seeing it set up.
Thanks.
And it made me buy it, and we're going to support you 100% all the way.
Yeah, so on Kickstarter now, like you said.
Yeah. If you guys want to buy it, if you're ever watching this on Appalachian Insider or the YouTube channel, my gaming and cardboard collecting channel, you can buy it on Kickstarter. You can buy Omens of Destiny, right?
Yep, Omens of Destiny on Kickstarter. Multiple reward tiers
Yeah.
available. There's still 12 days left in the campaign, so.
Yeah, we're going to try to push it for you because you ain't far away, but you're far enough that we need to start worrying a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is my first Kickstarter. A lot of lessons learned.
Those Kickstarter, does it let you kind of extend it at all?
No, you can't extend, but you can kick up the campaign again, right?
Okay.
So you kind of learn lessons, maybe where you could get better presence on social media. That's probably what I need to work on is getting in front of more people, because everybody that sees it seems to really like it.
That's why I wanted to do that. I was like, man, we'll get you in front of all of our followers and stuff.
Exactly. So if I don't fund this time around, then there have been some lessons learned, and then there's some things that I definitely need to do to spread the word a little better.
Yeah.
And I can always make another run at it for sure.
And we do a lot of podcasts on Appalachia Insider.
Okay.
So this is my kind of format, just talking back and forth.
Well, that's great.
Normally I have my other headset on. It sounds a little better than this. We do have a little background noise. I don't know what that's from. It's aggravating me. Well, everything else sounds great. Joe, I mean, what do people get if they get the game? And you're from Prestonsburg, right?
Well, I'm actually I'm between Prestonsburg and Pike, so
you're definitely from Eastern Kentucky.
I'm not far from here for sure. Yeah, that's right. So with the base game, there's a lot of content. So on the Kickstarter, it lists actually every item that's included in the game that's there. But there's over 400 cards, 7 customizable characters. There's acrylic standees, some dice, a lot of replayability, a lot of value in the game. So the base pledge is the game, which you're actually getting for $15 less than MSRP. So the game's going to retail for $85. You can get it on Kickstarter for $70. So if the campaign is successful and you pledge even at the base level, you're going to get a copy of the game for $70. And there's some other reward tiers that allow you to get a digital copy of the RPG, Mystic Forces, which Omens of Destiny pulls out of the same world as my full RPG, which is Mystic Forces. So one of the reward tiers will allow you to get a full digital copy of the game, as well as the first adventure module, get a cool-looking refrigerator magnet. You can get your name in the rule book. So there's definitely some perks. And one of the levels, you can actually get one of the prototype copies of the game board that's been used along the way. It's been a little over 5 years in development of the board game at this point, so it's been very thoroughly play-tested and vetted. And, a lot of prototype board games kind of in the back, so if you support on that level, you'll get a signed copy of one of the prototype boards. So a lot of interesting little perks and different levels of the reward, but the biggest thing is that you can get a discounted copy of the game. So.
What kind of got you into wanting to make a board game? Like, how does that happen?
Well, I've been into RPGs and just gaming in general for a lot of years now. I don't want to tell my age exactly, but it's been a while, right? So, liking RPGs, getting into the storytelling mode, and just getting together with friends, having fun, is not a far stretch from board games themselves, right? But I've always been kind of an RPG guy, and then
I love RPGs.
Yeah, for sure.
Growing up playing like Final Fantasy, Zelda, games like that.
I'm a little older school and more traditional though, so kind of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Okay.
Earth Dawn and some other things, and then of course I created my own RPG after a while. And so going to some conventions was seeing just a lot heavier presence of board games and a lot of people into board games. And so I had a friend that suggested that I should write a board game.
Yeah.
And so I took up the challenge, and that's kind of what happened. I wanted to kind of theme it after what I was comfortable with, what I knew, and what I had a passion for, which was RPG. And I already had this super rich world that came out of the Mystic Forces RPG game. So
when
I
did you
adapted
make
that
the Mystic
to a board
Forces?
game. Well, the first edition was in 2000.
2000. Wow, you go back. I'm looking at your website.
I told you.
I'm definitely going to link out all this stuff and check it out more thoroughly later on. When I make the article, and we'll get this up on video somewhere. But yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I
appreciate
you just
that.
don't hear about people like this in Eastern Kentucky. Even considering making a board game. You know what I'm saying? It's just cool to me. It's awesome.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But it's been a lot of fun. Meet a lot of interesting people, and
oh yeah,
I've had a lot of fun creating the game. Have a lot of fun playing the game still. So even after playing it, probably hundreds of times at this point,
yeah.
I still get a kick out of playing it. And got some buddies that I don't have to twist arm too hard to get them to play with me still too.
Oh,
so it must not be too bad for me.
It must be pretty awesome. I can't wait to actually play it.
It's a good time. It really is.
Next time, hopefully, I'll get to sit down and actually play it. And,
I hope you get a chance
to.
I'd love to see what you think about it.
Our next meetup will be at the library April. What is today? Let's see, the 6th. So we'll be at the library April the 6th. You guys gonna try to make it down
I'll
if you
try to
can?
be there. Yeah, I'll try to be there.
Try to bring it down, and
Okay.
we're definitely gonna pump it up. Hopefully the Kickstarter goes through. If it
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate any
We
support.
don't have a ton of followers. I know it looks like you made it on Mountaintop News. That's pretty cool.
I did.
We're definitely not as big as them on Appalachian Insider. We've only got almost 4K followers, but our online presence is okay. It's not the best, but we're just now starting up too. Kind of like you. We're just
hopefully only go up from here though, right?
Oh yeah, we just started the Appalachian TC group like maybe 6 months ago.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know how you
That's
guys
good.
heard about it, but
Through Micah. That's at least where it came through for me, right, Steve? What about you?
Yeah.
I'll let Steve
So,
back up and correct me on that. Yeah.
It's growing slow. I don't really know what our end goal is with it. I just like getting together and playing card games.
Have fun and see where it goes, kind of a thing.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to open up a card store. I just don't know how well that would go in McGoffin County. We're always afraid there's just not enough people interested. Because we're not a big city. We don't have a college nearby that people might play. But I've realized card games and board games are definitely a drive-to event almost. I'm not really worried about having stuff on the parkway or being able to foot traffic. It's nice, obviously, when you're trying to sell Cheetos or something like that. 'Cause that's your biggest markup. Everything I've read online and stuff, making a card store is the worst thing in the world you can do because you just don't make no money. So
I think you definitely have to have a passion for it.
You have to have, they say, don't do it for the money.
You gotta want it. Yeah, that's what I consider the stuff that I do as a labor of love. I enjoy seeing people play and enjoy what I've created.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If I can make a little money along the way, that's great. But the biggest thing for me is having created something, number one, that I can be proud of, number two, that I can see other people enjoying.
Oh,
and to me, that's the fulfillment of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of I cover sports and, I do everything, a little bit of everything here in McGoffin County. We got 2 podcasts that I work on. I know Buddy actually wants to start doing a sports podcast now. He wants to start that tomorrow. And I have all these kind of technology stuff I do. I do work in IT at my day job.
You're definitely staying busy.
Day job, and my kids are in sports. And I realized there wasn't people around here really covering younger sports in McGoffin County. Then when I started streaming stuff, a lot of people started showing up. There's bigger streamers, and they just wasn't covering McGoffin County, and all of a sudden they are now. I don't know how that happened, but I started working with a bunch of those guys too, just collaborating and
acting. Good for you.
But we do a lot of stuff on Appalachian Insider. We got a bunch of stuff going on, and one of the things is building the group and meet cool people like you that builds cool stuff. I just think it's awesome. I love Eastern Kentucky. I love meeting people that do cool stuff like this because you just don't hear about it.
That's true. It doesn't get the coverage that a lot of other places do, and you're right. So, and there's not a lot of people that do what you do, right? Taking the time to talk to and interview people that's doing indie game design and stuff. So I appreciate it.
And it's hard to do. And I've dabbled in game development, by myself, and it's so much harder than people think it is.
It's
develop a game by yourself.
It is
because you got to think about every little thing that goes through. What do you have a notebook or something like how the games? I'm sure it's kind of similar because been a small game, but I've made little games on Pie Gamer and stuff like that. So I mean, full functioning games that have buttons and they do things. So I don't know how. I'm trying to get this out. What's the flow chart of making a board game?
There's no one way, right? And a lot of times it depends on what your goal is, right? Someone may sit down with intentions of, okay, I want to design a game that's hot right now. It's what people are into. It's what'll sell. It'll be cheap to make, and it'll do. So that might be their goal, right? Is to really just move copies. But then you've got somebody like me that went into it not necessarily thinking about those things. I wanted to design a game that is what I would enjoy playing, right? And let it come out to me whatever it'll be. Not thinking about cost and weight and necessarily trying to target an audience that's going to maximize sales and stuff. So you could go at it that way, but what I went at is, okay, what would be fun for me to play? What would I really enjoy? And what ties into my roots of RPG and all that? So I guess it really depends on your end goal. There is a couple different ways to go at it. And for me, it was really just, what would be fun for me? What do I see in my mind's eye of being a good game, a fun game, and something that fits with what I know and understand well? And kind of, so that's how I went at it. And then from there, basically, I just started kind of throwing a bunch of stuff together, like you said, get a notebook, throw together ideas. I want it to be able to do this. I want to have this in it, and kind of making a laundry list of all of the things that I definitely want to see in the game.
Yeah.
And then start thinking about mechanics. Okay, what's the best way to put this together to make it playable? To start developing mechanics around it. So again, I don't know how other people do it, and obviously there's more than one strategy of going at it. But for me, it was really just, what do I think would be fun? What are the elements that I definitely want to include in the game? I knew I wanted to have questing. I knew I wanted to have a lot of combat and have creature-heavy elements to the game.
Yeah.
And so I just took the core of what I wanted to see and started expanding around that, kicking around ideals, and slowly, formed it out.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you ever looked into free assets? Do they have free assets for board games? Kind of like there's experience from making a little indie game here and there. You can use free assets all day long.
Absolutely, and in the beginning I did, right? So that's great for your initial play testing and getting some proof of concepts down and all that. But then when I got farther along into it, right, I wanted to make sure that it was unique, customized, and a little higher quality. So then I actually hired out some artists to start beginning doing artwork. It took me a few years.
I saw the art on some of those cards. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, there's a lot of custom artwork in there. I hired out artists in Italy and one in Canada that did the bulk of the work. They did an amazing job. But you're right, there are free assets, but those are kind of cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And only have a certain level of
quality. It would have been cool if you could have got a group in Eastern Kentucky and met people that could, been all based in Eastern Kentucky, like the art, everything.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
Well, for my RPG, actually, all of the art is local.
Oh, that's cool. Yep. So the Mystic Forces.
Mystic Forces, Jerry Miller, a wonderful artist that did all the artwork you see on the cover of the rulebook, as well as the adventure modules, the alchemy expansion. All that was local artists. Jerry Miller actually did all the artwork for that book.
That's awesome.
Those
I just love I like pumping up people in Eastern Kentucky. I think we're all awesome. We got some twangs.
I'm not going to argue with you, John.
I think we got some twangs and stuff. I've worked outside of Eastern Kentucky. I've worked in Lexington. I've worked all the way in Asbury. I've worked in Louisville. And, the first thing everybody said, "Where are you from?" They hear my twang, and I'm just like, I'm part cornbread, I guess.
Yeah, but, that's the first thing most folks.
But then people automatically consider that you're dumb, and I can't stand that.
That happens more often than.
I think I am dumb, but it's not because of how I talk. I actually comprehend very well.
Yeah, you're right. That's
sort of.
We have a pretty bad stereotype with that, right?
My buddy Cody, he's that helps run the Appalachian Insider. He's a big Kentucky's not that stupid like everybody thinks about. I'm like, I agree. Now I do think we like the simple life a lot more than we don't care about skyscrapers and stuff like that. We just don't. I don't think we need that. I'd rather have a big home instead of a little studio apartment like in California paying $2,500 for. But that's just me. you know, I like seeing the outside too, and the hills and the
I'm with you
grass.
there.
And, you know, I've lived in Lexington and had my own apartment and stuff like that. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, Eastern Kentucky, at least you can go outside and step on some grass every now and then.
Absolutely. I love it.
But,
Yeah, I love it here.
and
Born and raised.
yeah, and just there's lots of cool people in McGoffin County and surrounding counties everywhere that do cool stuff like this. I just think this is awesome. So, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so.
I
Other
know.
than just certainly thank you for taking the time to interview me and just
Yeah.
the hospitality of being able to join in with your gaming groups.
Yeah.
We've met a lot of good people here, and
It's cool.
I appreciate the feedback. And I do hope that folks will check me out on Kickstarter, Omens of Destiny.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely
appreciate the
share that
pledge,
tomorrow
appreciate
for
the
sure.
support, and Mystic Forces as well. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can get some time to where I can actually run a session of that here as well.
That'd be cool. I know we have a D&D group.
Exactly,
So,
yeah. So-
they would definitely love it.
So you've got some role players if they decide
Yeah.
they want to try something
Yeah.
a little different than maybe just Dungeons and Dragons or
Yeah.
Pathfinder, then Mystic Forces is a good alternative. It is drastically different, I can assure you that.
It's crazy when you walk into a game store now. I know back in like the night, you never had these many board games.
Yep,
There's
you're
a
right.
lot of board
It
games
has
now.
exploded.
It has. It has. I went to that Legendary Games down in Lexington. When was that? Wednesday. Yeah, and that place had all kinds. No, not it was the Rusty Scabbard.
Rusty Scabbard.
Rusty
Yep.
Scabbard had all the board games. The Legendary
Yeah,
Games didn't have. It had board games, but the Rusty
Rusty
Scabbard
Scabbard's,
in
they're
Lexington,
quite popular for sure. Yeah.
they had a crazy amount of board games. I was like, well, they had more board games than they had card games by far. Like, it's kind of sad about Magic there and stuff. I'm a big Magic player and Flesh and Blood, and, you know, games like that. But Joe, it's been awesome. I don't want to hold you guys long. I know we're all want to go to bed.
I appreciate you, John, for sure.
Get to bed, but
I've enjoyed being here and appreciate you again taking the time to
Uh,
talk to me.
yeah, guys, if you guys support him on Kickstarter, it's Omens of Destiny. I've already bought my super supporter pack.
There you go.
I'm gonna get my
Appreciate
name on there. My name's on the game now. I feel important.
There you
Not
go.
really,
There you
but,
go.
I'm just glad to support Joe here and all his buddies that show up to our card group and or gaming group. And it's just been fun. I hope we'll see you around again. Hopefully, we everybody in East Kentucky can help you buy. You know, support this game. I think it's awesome. Man. Let's get
Thank
behind this guy, guys.
Thank you. Sounds like a solid plan, John.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it'd be all. I'd be like, this is awesome. Let's go. Eastern Kentucky all the way.
There you go.
Well, guys, that's it for this interview. Joe, thank you again. We'll definitely link your Discord, your website, the Kickstarter, probably tomorrow when I get some time, and we'll edit this video down and get all the good parts.
Sounds good. Thanks, John.
Thanks for having us, and everybody else have a good night.